So we are doing this most important question of this chapter. So there is a permanent electric dipole moment, and this dipole is in a uniform external electric field. So now there is a force QE on positive charge. So let us understand what is happening here. So this charge positive, so there is a force in this direction, QE force on this direction. There is opposite force on this minus QE, this direction. The net force on dipole is 0. Why? One force is positive QE, another is minus QE. So force cancel out, forces cancel out. But there is a problem. However, the charges are separated, so forces act at different points. So since one force is in positive direction, another force is in negative direction, so forces cancel out. But since the charges are separated, there is a distance between them, the forces act at different points, resulting in a torque. So there would be a torque, since there is a difference. So there would be a torque on this, which try to rotate this dipole like this. So this dipole tries to rotate in this effect of this electric field. So now there is a torque. When the net force is 0, the torque couple is independent of origin. That means if origin is here or here, we don't care where is this origin. The torque couple is independent of origin. Its magnitude equals to the magnitude of each force multiplied by the arm of the couple perpendicular distance between two anti-parallel forces. Remember, in the class 11 we studied torque, where torque was simply tau was simply r cross f. Remember, all these are vector quantities. So torque was not simply dependent on force, but the perpendicular distance of the arm from that force. So let us say what is here. So this is angle is theta. Now since this angle is theta, now let us, this point is P, and this is like this setup. Similar setup is for here. This angle is again theta, and this is distance, and this is the angle. So this distance is A, this distance is A, and now we have to calculate this distance on which torque is acting. So since this angle is theta, and this distance is for cos, this is for sine, so this distance for torque, this one is simply A sine theta, because if we see this angle, this is perpendicular to this angle, so hence we have to take sine component. So this distance is A sine theta. So the magnitude of torque was simply QE is the force. Now A sine theta is the distance, and we have two of them, one and another one, 2. So 2 comes because of that. A sine theta is this distance. So simply the magnitude of torque is 2QE sine theta. Its direction is normal to the plane of paper. That means plane of paper means that it is coming out of the paper. Normal to the plane of paper, that means this torque is coming out of the paper. The magnitude P cross E is also PE sine theta. We know that if we take P cross E, that is also P. You remember that when we take this cross product, the angle is sine theta, PE sine theta. So P cross E, also you know P is 2QA. So when we put this 2QAE, so this, put the value of P into this, so this is 2QAE and sine theta. So see, this is 2QAE sine theta, this is same. So the torque can be written as tau is equal to P cross E. P cross E. So similarly, so what are the formula coming out for this torque? First, tau is P cross E, or we can write that tau is equal to 2qa E sin theta. So both are equal. So this is the formula for torque here. This torque will tend to align the dipole with the field E. So here, so now we considered the two cases. The torque will tend to align the dipole with the electric field. So what does this torque do? This try to align this dipole with the external electric field. When P is aligned with E, the torque is 0. How this is E is 0 when it is aligned? See, when it is aligned, that means this direction of dipole is aligned with this. That means there is 0 angle. Theta is 0 and sine 0 is 0. So that means when both the direction, electric field and torque direction are aligned, this will not rotate, hence the torque will be 0. This torque will try to align it with the external electric field. Now let us see two simple cases. First case, when electric field is in this direction, when the electric field is in positive axis. So force on this positive charge is in this direction, force on negative charge on this direction. That means how? Electric field originates from positive side to negative side, it goes from positive to negative. So negative charge will move on this side, that means force on this side, positive charge will move towards negative side. But the direction of this dipole is from negative to positive, so hence net force on the dipole is on the positive side. Okay, when direction of field is still in positive x, but see this time negative charge is on the positive, the negative charge is on the right side and positive charge on the left side. So this is positive, this is negative, so this will repel, and this will attract toward this. So in that case this goes to left, this goes to right, and the direction of dipole is in negative direction, hence total direction of the dipole is in left side. Total direction on the force is in left side or negative x-axis, while the direction of increasing field is in this direction. So this, I hope this example is clear to you. So now we have reached to another topic. Once we are done with this dipole, so we have reached to a new topic, continuous charge distribution. So remember, in the first chapter we discussed, this first chapter itself we discussed that the charges are very small and these charges are discrete like these points, but when these points are very near to each other, so we see it as a continuous line. See, all these points are discrete, but I have put them very close to each other, so this looks like a continuous line. Similarly, what is the magnitude of electronic charge? 1.6 into 10 to power minus 19 coulomb. So that means the charge 1.6 into 10 to power minus 19, it is very small. Even in microcoulomb, there were 10 to power 12 to 13 charge carriers. So charges are discrete, but in real life they are so near that we see them as continuous rather than discrete. We see them continuous. So in a way to that, we will today define this continuous charge distribution. Why this continuous charge distribution is important? First, let us understand why this is important. Suppose we have a body and even a microcoulomb charge is present. So there are 10 to power 12 or 10 to power 13 charges. So if we try to solve the equation for all of them, that means 10 to power 13 equations, which is huge, so we cannot solve them. So instead of taking charges as discontinuous or discrete, we take charges as continuous. That means charge is continuous, there is no discreteness, so make our life simple. Okay, so how can we do this? Let us see.